This vertical was a mess, but it was a funny fucking mess. Welcome to Callies Vertical R&R, where I recap and review my latest vertical watch. Today we have Office Girl. I know for sure it has Amelia. I know the other guy, but I'm gonna have to look up his name. But essentially, she's an aspiring architect, and she goes to be an girl at a architect firm or whatever the fuck they call them. Anywho, her new boss, total dickwad, like chauvinistic pig, like asshole, like right off the bat, like sexually objectifying her, talking to her terribly. And at first, she shows some mild resistance, but very quickly, she's eating out of his palm. She's into it. And it's so, I will say, it was fucking hilarious because half of it, Tess is breaking the fourth wall. Like, it's fucking funny as shit. But yeah, but somehow, like, she's super into it. He's just treating her like absolute shit, like spanking her. When she's literally like, "Oh, I won't wear a short skirt for you, but spank me, that's fine." Okay. Now, y'all, keep in mind when I roast the storyline in the writing, I am not roasting the actors. They gave it their fucking all. They were phenomenal in this, but it was just so unhinged. Okay, and on the homeward side, Eve has a niece who is in a wheelchair after her parents were killed in a car crash. So she has her to think of too. So the job's really important for that too. And y'all, if they could have done a whole different side movie about Eve and her niece was a great addition. Like, she was one of my favorite characters in the show. She was so blunt. I think she said like shitballs at one part. It was so fucking funny. I love that actress. Obviously a young actress, but I'd be very interested to see if she does verticals in the future. Now, the dickwad boss, he also has this assistant that he's had for 12 years, okay? And she's like, no nonsense, but, every so often, she's asked the man about a promotion, and him being the dickwad he is, he brushes her off every single time. And at no point is he giving Eve a chance to show her designs, to show anything about her aspirations to be an architect or any of her talent, nothing like that. He's just mainly busy tearing off her panties and keeping them. The man has a fetish, okay? So he ends up making her his personal assistant. Pretty much because he had initially fired her because she didn't want to wear a short skirt, and then she came back the next day and kind of called him out, and she's like, "I'm the best, that's why, you should hire me back." He's like, "All right, but you'll be my personal assistant." So anywho, she goes to Paris with him, and of course he's up to his shenanigans again, tearing her panties off. There's all these heated scenes, okay? And then he's there to like meet up with this Australian dude about claiming a project, like a work project, getting the bid for it or whatnot. And they pretty much have to, show the architectural plan. And he ain't thinking of one that's as affordable as they want. So they have some other contenders there that are also interested. And pretty much the boss guy and the rivals, they have some beef, like long standing beef. And him and the other guy are constantly knocking each other out. Like, they hate each other. But it's a pair of brothers that are on the rival side. And the one brother is like cool and collected. The other one's hot headed. And the boss and the brother are always fighting, okay? And it's pretty much just Eve and the other brother just standing back watching. And this is what I mean about it being fucking hilarious. Because Eve's just sitting on the side sipping her wine. She's like, wow. And after that, there's this one scene like, they go to the bathroom, after he's had this brawl with the guy, and he's obviously all heated and, pissed off. And then Eve's just standing there looking sexy. And of course they start making out, and they go into the stall, right? This is what I'm talking about, both the breaking the fourth wall. She looks over and he's like, "That's a big dick." I had me pissing myself laughing. It was so fucking funny. And that's why the very first scene of the vertical is, well, like the second scene, is her walking into his office, and he's in like these very short briefs, doing like, that yoga position where you're like, your arms are behind you and your feet are like angled down and you're like kind of like making an upside down U. He's doing that in his briefs and he has this giant fucking wad and look, I'm pretty sure it's fake, but they really were packing it. And it gets better when they're in the stall. This older guy, he comes in with a cigar and he's like, oh, he says something along the lines of, what's wrong with this generation? And he walks off because they're mid. And then they go up to the room. And she says something that I think it's because she says his name or something like that. And I guess he feels like it's getting too personal. He immediately like shuts down and tells her to go away. And they have a couple situations like that until there's one where they're at dinner and he's pretty much shutting her down again. And she's like, no, I don't want the night to be over. I want to go have fun. And she like convinces him to go skinny dipping in the pool that's closed off. And the entire time there's like the hotel manager running around, a Frenchman, trying to keep the hotel standing because they're constantly, again, getting into brawls. But they go to the pool and, he finally like chills out a little bit and he's actually having fun in spite of himself. And the Frenchman runs in and they run out. You see his ass cheeks. I was like, okay. Wasn't expecting to get mooned, but there's a first for everything in verticals. But so they run out, and he's obviously living it up. He's actually relaxed for once. And they go up to the room and they do the deeds. And I think after that, like, she gets a call from her niece, and her niece is like, oh my god, some anonymous donor paid off all my bills. I'm going to be able to get the procedures I need and things like that because she's sick, as well as in her wheelchair. And obviously, Eve knows it's because of him, and she tries to bring it up to him, and she's like, oh, well, and he's like, don't say it. And she's like, oh, I don't think I'm falling in love with you. She's like, I'm madly in love with you. And I was like, because of what? Like, what on earth has the man done to fall in love with? He has treated you horrible. The Dickens good when they fall in love that quick. I'm just saying. But I digress. And then, okay, so they kind of have like a falling out. And she goes down to the bar, and one of the brothers from the rival pair, like the chill one, he's at the bar too. And he's like, oh, I bet you would make a great junior associate. Like, we could offer you a position. And I mean, after she proclaimed her love to him, he's like, oh, well, you'll never be anything more than a fucking office girl to me, and he's mean as fuck to her. And I'm like, girl, I'd leave too. And she's like, oh yeah, once we go back, things are just gonna go back to how they were before. And so they go back, and important detail, he gets knocked out randomly when he's supposed to meet with like the Australian dude, and Eve ends up sharing her designs to save his ass, and he gets the deal because of Eve's designs. And when they get back home, she overhears him talking to the Australian guy, saying the designs were his and discrediting Eve. And that's the final straw. She quits, she moves out of the apartment he got them, and that's it. And then she goes and takes that job at the other firm, and you're like, oh, it's one of those tropes where the other guy's a good guy. No. He ends up asking her on a date, and she goes on it, and it turns out that the assistant of 12 years, she's been kind of going behind his back, the main guy, and she's fed up with him because she's been asking for a promotion for 12 fucking years. I'd be fed up too. And they've pretty much conspired to take the money coming from the Australian guy and send it to the Caymans. But in a twist, so Eve gets kidnapped, tied to a chair, and that's how they also get the boss. And he's there, and of course he secretly loves her. So they get the code from him, they get the money transferred, and then the assistant pulls a gun and shoots everyone, including Eve. But the boss gets out at the last minute, and he ends up shoving her, and it breaks her neck, and she dies. But Eve gets shot in the stomach, and then it goes forward to him and the niece together, and they're like, yeah, I miss Eve. And she's like, me too. And then Eve shows up, and it turns out she's alive, and she breaks the fourth wall again. She's like, what, you thought I was dead? Oh, and as punishment, he has her drag this enormous heavy chest across the country. And you never know during the whole vertical what it is. You know what it turns out to be? His fucking collection of used panties. And that's how it is. Yo, go watch it. It was unhinged.